coming to you live from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Today, we are talking baking steels and home ovens and the broiler method. The broiler method is, I think my phone's ringing there, sorry. The broiler method is epic. It's one of the hacks that we use to get our oven, think of those deck ovens in New York pizzerias, those wood-fired ovens getting to like 800 degrees. Well, with our steel in there at 500, 550, and we can use the broiler, we can get a few more horsepowers out of our ovens, and it's a nice hack. Not always necessary. In fact, the last few pizzas I've been making more New York style, so I'm not using the broiler at all. Like last week's bake, we just went into the oven. This week, we're going to use strictly the broiler method. I'm going to show you exactly my technique, how to do it on a baking steel. We're going to make a pizza. We're going to launch it. And I'll show you a play-by-play of exactly how we do this. All right. So let's talk mise en place first. And mise en place is all the things that we're going to use today, all the ingredients prepped. So we've got our dough. Got a couple of dough balls here. 48-hour dough. I made the dough on Monday, and it's been fermenting for 24 hours at room temp and 24 hours cold. This morning, I balled it up about 3 hours ago. It's on its final proof, which means it's starting to expand. It's going to be ideal by the time we go to stretch it, which I'll do in a second. For the pizza today, making my favorite, a plain cheese. And when I say cheese, we're going with, you can see here, I'll go top down here. I'll go top down in a second, but you guys can see here, I've got shredded low moisture mozzarella. I have shredded fontina. I have this is fresh mozzarella. I'll tear this by hand. And we have some Parmesan, which we'll grate on as well, which is going to be great. I've kept all my cheeses shredded. I've kept them cold in the fridge, and we'll keep those out now. But the idea is keep it nice and cold so it slows down that cooking process ever so slightly. Let's get right into pizza making. All right, so oven's preheating at 450 degrees with convection. This is an electric oven. And the reason I'm doing 450 because I'm tricking it out. These newer ovens, they have heat sensors in them. If they get too hot and I switch it on to broil, the broil will delay several minutes before it kicks in. We have found that if we preheat our oven at 450 or below 500, then we switch it to broil, it tends to go on very fast. So we've tricked it. The oven's not too hot. And that's the secret here for this oven. Now, if you have a gas oven, gas ovens are brilliant because they don't have heat sensors. And typically when you put the broiler on, it fires right up. So you're gonna get a lot of extra heat with the gas oven. With the electrics, we need to be smart and we just need to be careful not to get them too hot because I want to get that broiler ripping hot right when I launch it into the oven today. So let's first make our pizza. Then we'll get to all of your questions. Keep the mess somewhat controlled. I'm going to put my flour onto my plate. I'm going to grab a dough ball. Again, here's my two dough balls. These are about 300 grams each. I'm going to take one out and just place it into my flour like so. And I'll turn this over. The idea is not to have it stick. I can knock some of this off, but now I've got a pretty good coating on it. My plate over here, and there's our dough. And I'm using mostly gravity here to stretch, but I kind of just lightly press it out. Look at the shadows, isn't that pretty? And make sure I pick it up, make sure it's not getting stuck to my container, to my countertop. Just keep pressing out. And there's some rules of thumb, like there's some guys are going to take this and be really careful not to press out the very edge, right? There's some schools of thought where they press out the entire thing. So really, it depends on your style. The bubbles, again, dealer's choice. Um, if you don't want the bubbles to burn, then you probably better off popping them because when that broiler's on, it's gonna that direct heat is gonna pulverize this dough. So again, isn't that nice? Again, I'm not doing much here. I'm just kind of taking the back of my knuckles and just letting gravity do its thing. Giving each one a slight pull. You can see on a check here. It's probably 7 or 8 inches. We'll go a little bit bigger still. So in the meantime, I've got my dough working. I've got my peel, my wooden peel. I like to dust this with just a little bit of flour and semolina flour. And those are my ball bearings that I place my dough on top of. So I'm going to put my peel aside. I've got it ready. So my dough's ready to kind of place it on top. Just stretch it. You can see it looks pretty cool, right? Now I'll take my dough, my peel, place it right on top. Boom. Awesome. It's probably about a 10-inch pizza right now. Nice size. I like to pinch my edges just a little bit. Again, each time I do this, when I pinch my edges, I'm getting a little texture on that crust, right? Making this a little unique. You don't have to do it that way. Just a nice change of pace, right? So there is my dough. Before I do any sauce, before I do any cheese, I want to give it to make sure it's sliding. Make sure my bearings underneath are still sliding this dough back and forth. And it is. This is the time to fix it. If I have an error, something getting stuck, pick up the corner that gets stuck, slide a little flour underneath it, and place it back. Boom. Right? And now I know it's going to slide. So for my sauce, I'm using crushed tomatoes. And these are Cento tomatoes today. Trying a different brand. Again, vibrant red, a little sea salt. That's all we got in here. My tomatoes are room temperature. They're not cold. You want to try to avoid cold tomatoes. I like it room temp because it just cooks a lot more evenly. And sometimes you might get that sauce, cold sauce in the dough. It gets a little doughy when they meet. And so by having your sauce room temperature, that's ideal. I'm really just painting it in there, right? Get into the groove, right? Isn't that pretty? Now I will take some oregano, just because I feel like oregano today. Put some underneath my, on top of my sauce. This felt like oregano. I don't know why I did. All right, now my cheese. I have low moisture mozzarella. And I'm just doing a nice thin layer of cheese. I'm going to take some fontina. Again, remember, if you're making a cheese pizza, we always grate our own cheese because when we buy it, the pre-shredded kinds, the shreds, these individual shreds will not stick in the shredded bags. However, each one of these shreds would be coated in a starch, which makes them prematurely brown. So again, less is more, right? Isn't that pretty? Not a lot of cheese. I'm gonna use a little bit of fresh mozzarella, kind of mix it up. All right. Let's go back here for a second. You can see my pizza, I got the pizza, right? Beautiful. It's done. I'm kind of done topped. I might throw a little bit of olive oil on top, just a little bit, little squirt. All right. Sliding like a puck still. So let's go talk oven. This is really important. I'm going to switch my oven to broil. Broil, typically there's, in a lot of ovens, there's two settings. There's a low and a high. I like the high. In fact, I've never even used the low. I didn't even know it existed. I always go straight to high. I want all that heat to come down. And I'm going to take you guys into the oven when I launch this because we want those, um, the broiler coils red hot. And when those things are red hot, they're going to be super hot. We're going to launch our pizza at that point. I'm going to throw a little bit of sauce on top, feeling it, make it a little saucy, right? Again, less is more. Less is more, not too heavy. See, just add a little bit of sauce. It's still sliding like a puck. Our oven's getting hot. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna peek inside and our broiler's red hot. So now is a good time to go in. Let's switch the oven, show you guys inside what I'm looking at here. Work fast, okay? I wanna open this up. You see my broiler's red hot. My pizza goes all the way back in the steel boom. You see that broiler? Super hot. I'm gonna close it up. Timer on, 2 minutes. Our steel was hot, 500 degrees preheated, right? Now we get the broiler coming down. Really, that steel's really gonna soak up that heat. We threw our pizza right on top. So this first 2 minutes is critical. I might wanna peek before 2 minutes and turn the broiler off so our top doesn't get too hot. But we're gonna really be focused on making sure the bottom catches up to the top of the top of the pizza. So it's a balancing act. So this takes a little bit of nuance, a little bit of practice. I know the rhythm of my oven. I know 2 minutes is probably as long as I want to go with the broiler. So I might peak a little bit sooner and then turn the broiler off, rotate the pizza slightly so it all cooks evenly, and maybe bake for another minute or two tops, and we'll have a 3 to 4 minute bake, which is pretty fast. With the gas broiler, you can even do it faster because I know I can get that oven even hotter, if that makes sense. So let's take a peek inside just so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Right? I'm opening the oven up here. You can see we're getting some color on top, right? Starting to bubble up pretty nicely. So close this off. Awesome. It's been about 2 minutes with the broiler. So I'm going to actually turn my broiler off now and bake it back on convection. For me, convection, I'll go 500, 25. I probably won't even get there. 2 more minutes. And that'll be about a 4 minute pizza, which is pretty fast. Hopefully not too dark on the top. I'll peek. I think we'll be all right. I think we're gonna be just okay. So 4 minute bake, which is really fast. Now, if I'm gonna be making multiple pizzas, here's another trick. If you're making multiples for, say, Halloween, when you have all the kids coming through your house, ideally you have two steels from multiple pizzas for really trying to crank them out. Because what I would do is after 2 minutes, I would take the pizza off the top steel and move that to the bottom and launch a new one on top. So it's going to get the benefit of that broiler. Now, when I move it to the bottom steel, that bottom steel is technically hotter than the first steel because nothing has been on it. So we kind of shuffle our pizzas around like a pizza oven. So go top to bottom, 2 more minutes, and then we remove the bottom pizza. That one should be done. We move the top one to the bottom, and we just kind of rotate, if you will, put that on repeat, and you can fly and make, lots of pizzas in a short amount of time. If you don't have a second steel, and you only have one steel, use the top rack. That's what I'd be doing here, and just use that broiler as frequently as you can. It's been about time. So I'm gonna take another peek in here, see what this is looking like. Oh my goodness, and it looks amazing. It looks great. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit early because I want to show you guys how beautiful this is. Here we go. Ready? Oh, come on. So really nice color on top. Isn't that beautiful? Underneath, is cooked really well too. You can see. Now I could probably go a little bit longer, but my secret's going to be getting this home tonight to my kids, or my kid, I should say. You can see. Isn't that beautiful? The colors are really nice. I've got some char, cheese really melted nice underneath, really cooked crispy. And I could go, that's probably about 3.5 minutes. I could probably go another minute, get that bottom even more firm if I'd like, but really it's gorgeous. And I love the color. It's incredible. So amazing. You can see I brought the sauce out close to the edge here. Ugh, losing it. Close to the edges. Kind of like the vibe I was going for today. It looks beautiful and it smells amazing. The aroma, cheese melted great.